Broadcasting down on the bayou, it's Mark Out Mania, a podcast featuring two average Joe wrestling fans talking about the business they love and so much more. And now, here's Ryan Keith and Patrick Fry.
And welcome to Mark Out Mania, episode 16. Special guest today, Patrick. What's up, man?
Not too much. As you said, we got a special guest today, Hunter. We will introduce him in just a minute. But the quick rundown today for Mark Out Mania episode 16 for February the 18th, 2016. The dual branded pay-per-views are going to be coming back. We will dive into that because that is that's a big story from the week. Also, Ronda, she's going to sign her Raw contract at Elimination Chamber. Also, the Elimination Chamber scorecards will be available later this week. We'll talk about that. We'll go over the match card that they have so far. It looks like they should be adding some more matches. Also, an injured superstar started working out again at the Performance Center, so we'll talk about how this big superstar can come back, where he might fit into the storyline. Also, the rumor mill, the possibility of WWE being sold. Also, maybe a professional athlete being signed to WWE in the future. Also, some news about some possible Goldberg appearance at a later event, Kurt Angle's possible WrestleMania opponent, and Rey Mysterio's WWE future. Also in Cheap Heat, you want to talk about a reunion of a former band and their thoughts on Billy Corgan as well. And then we're also going to talk about an Impact taping that they're going to go head-to-head with WrestleCon in New Orleans. I think that's where it's going to be at, New Orleans? Yeah, New Orleans, WrestleMania weekend. So that's going to be interesting. So, Ryan, take it away. Introduce our special guest today.
That's right. You can touch us on the internet, MarkOutMania.com. You can find us on all our social media pages right there, and where to download and listen to the podcast. Before we introduce Hunter, I want to give a big shout-out to Ryan K. Bowman, a writer for the Miami Herald, and also the editor-in-chief at the GorillaPosition.com. The guy's going to be giving us mad props lately, and please go check out his website, thegorillaposition.com. And, of course, he's going to be on the show the week before WrestleMania. So April 1st, Ryan K. Bowman of the Miami Herald will join us right here on Mark Out Mania. Also want to give a big shout-out to Baden West. He's from Down Under. Baden is going to be at the New Japan event tomorrow, actually, and he's going to send us a lot of photos for us to post on our social media. So, Baden, thank you very much for that. And yeah, we got a special guest in here with us today. His name is Hunter Bauer. He is the brand new staff writer for Mark Out Mania. He has the Undercard blog. If you go to MarkOutMania.com, you hit wrestling blogs, you will see Brink's blog, and you will see Hunter's blog there, the Undercard blog. Hunter, what's up, man?
Oh, not too much. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Man, we appreciate you, brother. Give us a little background on Hunter Bauer.
Well, you know, I'm originally from North Louisiana. I migrated down here to work in McNeese for a few years, and finally left there about a little over a year ago. Got married and stuff, so adjusting to the married life. But, you know, just been interested in wrestling probably since I was 8 years old. Actually, the first pay-per-view I ever watched was Royal Rumble 1998. Stone Cold wins his second Royal Rumble. Undertaker and Shawn Michaels go at it. Kane comes in and burns almost everybody up. So, but it's just it's been really something that me and my brother bonded with or over since we were kids, and we've kind of kept up with it. Mainly WWE, but just try to keep up with it. Of course, my favorite wrestler is The Undertaker. I am a little biased when it comes to him. So
I actually heard that. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
you met The Undertaker.
I did. We went to Raw last year. It was before the Royal Rumble. The Raw that Undertaker said he was going to be in the Royal Rumble. Went back to our hotel, and we're going up the escalator, and there's The Undertaker standing right there.
Nice.
Freeze. I just froze. I didn't know what to do, so I was like, man, this dude is so... I mean, he's huge, guys. He's 52 years old, but he's huge. So I gained the courage. I walk up to him. I said, Mr. Undertaker? And he looks at me. He said, yes. I said, can I get a picture with you? And this was the same night as the national championship game between Clemson and Alabama. And he looks at the TV, and he looks at me, and he looks at the TV, and he looks at me, and he goes, all right, but I need to watch the game. So... real quick, my wife turns around, takes a picture, and he turns right back around and starts watching the game. And I'm like, my night's made. We can go home now. So,
do you know if he was pulling for Alabama or Clemson
I surely
that night?
hope not.
You know, I wanted to ask him, but he just seemed like he just wanted to be alone. He had done Raw, and he just wanted to chill out for a little bit. So, but it was cool. Y'all, guys, he is huge. I know people say that all the time, but for a 52-year-old man, that dude is huge. So
it's like the same thing. Back in about 2011, me and Brink, we went to Hell in the Cell in New Orleans, and CM Punk was doing a meet and greet type of thing at a store there. And by the time we got there, the line was a mile long to meet CM Punk. So we didn't get in line. We just went to the store in hopes that maybe we'd run into him. Sure enough, we're walking around the store, and he comes through a side door. Now, unfortunately, we didn't get to take a picture with him or anything. He had his bodyguards with him. CM Punk is much bigger than you would expect.
I never would have thought that.
See, you see him on TV, you don't think he's that big of a dude. He was a solid guy.
Really?
I was shocked, and I'd see him Punk. I chanted, and he turned around, and he looked at it. He just kind of acknowledged us, but that was really cool. I mean, we were within about 5 feet of him, but then again, he had 3 or 4 bodyguards in between, so I wasn't going to try to approach him. But
that were looking to ruin your life.
Yeah, he was. I'm telling you, like I said, that was the shocking thing about him, and that's probably the shocking thing about a lot of these superstars that don't really look so big on TV, but in person, man, they're almost larger than life. Like The Undertaker.
I mean, you talk about bodyguards. When The Undertaker, when he came up, he had this guy was probably about my size. So, and he had his bags, and they got there, and he said, "All right, I'm good." And the other guy was like, "All right, I'm going to leave now." And I'm like, was that like his bodyguard? Was that like a WWE rep just making sure he got to the hotel? Because that dude was not going to protect The Undertaker if something were to happen. But I think Undertaker could have taken care of himself. So
I was about to say, The Undertaker probably does not need very much protection.
No, not at all. So.
Well, cool story there from Hunter. I would have loved to. I haven't really ever met any WWE superstars other than maybe coming within a few feet of CM Punk. Other than that, I never took any pictures with any superstars. Mine would be Stone Cold, obviously. I would love to. If I met Stone Cold, I would have been like you, The Undertaker. I would have froze for a second. And I would have honestly been intimidated to even go ask Steve Austin for a photo. I mean, that would be all. Who would you like if you had to meet one superstar, Ryan? Who would it be?
Man, that's a good one. There's tons of them I'd mark out for, but if it's one and only, probably The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock. You want to talk about somebody I guarantee looks very big and much bigger in person, as big as he looks on TV? It would have to be The Rock. So
yeah, and then you're going to WrestleMania, right?
I'm going down WrestleMania weekend for Access. We're just going to Access. I couldn't get tickets for WrestleMania, so too much.
What you pointing at me for?
He said he couldn't get tickets. I know you were wanting to get tickets.
Were they unavailable? Just couldn't fit in the budget?
No, budget-wise, I couldn't get tickets.
Because I've been, about on a weekly basis, I go to certain websites and I look at WrestleMania ticket prices, and they're a lot more expensive than they were 4 years ago, obviously.
Yeah. Right.
But
we lucked out 4 years ago. We actually got to go to WrestleMania 30, my first WrestleMania, and I mean it was such a great event. But I don't know, it just seems like this time around the tickets are just ridiculous.
Now, All Access, are you going to be able to talk to wrestlers?
I think if you bought a certain package, you definitely got the chance to meet them. But I think mine is you can stand in a line and try to meet them. I think they are signing for 2 or 3 hours. I hadn't even seen who. I think it's Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose and Asuka and them. So we're going to try to get in a line maybe for Dean Ambrose because I like him a lot. So.
Yeah. Okay. I'll talk to you after the show.
All righty.
Well, anyways, let's dive into our first topic. Big news this week. WWE confirming that after WrestleMania, starting with Backlash on May the 6th, they're going to go back to having dual-branded pay-per-views. Now, I'm going to start this off just by saying I think this is a great idea because, last year, while it was nice to have, and we talked a little bit about this before we got on the show here, but it was real nice to every other Sunday night to hang out, have a WWE pay-per-view to watch, but at the same time, when you have, especially the SmackDown pay-per-views, I found, because SmackDown, the depth, not quite there, not at least as much as it is for Raw. The pay-per-views were somewhat watered down to me, and now you have both brands together. Anybody who goes and watches a pay-per-view, it seems like it means a little bit more. You also have the possibility for superstars on Raw and SmackDown to interact with each other, maybe setting up a future storyline, because obviously when Survivor Series rolls around this year, they've been branding that as a Raw versus SmackDown kind of deal, so I think that would be a cool little aspect there. But I don't know. I'm just really excited that they're, and me personally, I'm not a big fan of the brand split. I'd rather have all the guys on. I'd rather have one WWE title, one tag team title, and I was never a big fan of the brands, but to me, they're doing a good job of it, obviously, and I'm glad that now they're going to bring them together and make these pay-per-views. Now I think they're going to be 4 hours, Hunter. I think you said you read they were going to be 4 hours. So 4-hour pay-per-views, that's going to be interesting to see because, obviously Raw sometimes can't keep me tuned in for 3 straight hours. But the pay-per-views, obviously, they mean more than Raw or a SmackDown. A lot more is going to happen. It's a lot bigger things happen at pay-per-views now, and they put more emphasis on them, in my opinion. So that's just my thoughts. I'm glad it's going to be back. You're going to have them once a month. I had the schedule up, but I didn't pull it up. But basically, starting May 6th, there's going to be one every single month. You're not going to have 2 a month. You're just going to have 1 per month until the end of the year. And I guess they're going to do this as a test run to see if that's the way they're going to go, into 2019, or they're going to go back to having exclusive brand pay-per-views. So we'll go to Hunter now. Hunter, what's your thoughts on the dual brands coming back?
Yeah, my first thought when I read about the dual brands was they're actually going to have time to build up storylines now instead of doing a storyline pay-per-view. They're actually going to have almost a whole month to actually build up on something and make it mean something again. And another thing I thought of was the tag teams. Tag teams on either brand, it just seemed like they didn't really... It just got old after a while. It was always the same tag team. So hopefully they'll be able to bring more of these guys together and, the New Day can go against, the tag team on Raw or whatever. But that's the 2 things I thought about the most. And as far as the dual brand pay-per-views, yeah, like you said, they were just getting to be too much. It's just too much. I know they're trying to do so much with the WWE Network and trying to get your money's worth, but, you can only do so much. But one thing I did read was the lower to mid-card talents, they're fearing that they'll suffer the most from this. They're saying that there'll be fewer spots available on the cards, but, going to 4 hours, I feel like it's not going to be affected that much. So.
Yeah, or just step up your game.
Yeah. Exactly.
Are you in it to be a mid-carder, or are you in it to be a main eventer? Come on.
That's right. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin said, if you're in it not to win the championship, you're in the wrong business. So always...
And, I heard Kevin Nash saying a while back in a shoot interview that he's like, back in the day, it was a bunch of sharks. Like, everybody wanted to be on top. Mm-hmm. And you had to watch your own back. He said these days, the locker room, people are just waiting for it to be handed to them. Be like, hey, you're getting a title shot. No, you got to work for it. You also said that this next pay-per-view possibly had a hand in the dual brand with attendance, right?
Yeah, they said that the attendance is getting low on these pay-per-views, not only in the arena but on the network as well, subscriptions and stuff. So maybe that'll help jump it a little bit. People will actually be invested in the pay-per-view a lot more. So that'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, because I feel like those brand exclusive pay-per-views, some of them at times just very top-heavy. The only match you care to watch is maybe the WWE title match, the Universal title match, or the top 2 matches, whereas the first 3 or 4 matches of the night, it's like, who cares, And now with obviously having the dual brands back together, you're going to have more title matches in a pay-per-view, and at the end of the day, the title feuds, that is really makes it, these feuds that much more interesting. So it's going to suck for the non-title feuds in the long run, I think, but I'm glad that because at times, even when they did the brand exclusive pay-per-views, I feel like obviously, Alexa Bliss has not defended her Raw Women's title since TLC. I mentioned it before we got on at WrestleMania last year. The SmackDown Tag Team titles weren't even on the line. And now I feel like since then, the SmackDown Tag Team division has really upped their game with the Usos and whatnot. So I'm glad that they're doing this for the basis that I think all the titles will have that much more emphasis on them.
And, I think it'd bring back an old school feel to wrestling, because I was talking to an old schooler the other day that used to wrestle for Mid-South, and he said, the TV tapings were really meant for you to get seen on a national level, but the house shows are where you made your money. That's where you built your brand. You couldn't build it on a weekly television program. You built it during the weeks. And I think that'd do it. And a lot of these mid-carders, like you're saying, to build storylines, they'll have more time to get fans invested in them now. Now, on the other hand, I would like to see, and I know we talked about this when we first heard the news here at work, I'm wondering if it's ever a possibility that a Raw guy could challenge for a SmackDown belt.
It would be the
or
most,
vice versa.
It'd be the most interesting thing, and that's the thing. Like with these Raw pay-per-views, Brock Lesnar wasn't on every pay-per-view. I want to see AJ Styles wrestle more, So hopefully with these more, but yeah, like you said, I want to see maybe AJ Styles fight Brock Lesnar or somebody of that stature a little bit more and just get more quality matches out of this instead of saying, oh, well, Roman Reigns is facing so-and-so again. It's a non-title match. It's a main event. No, I want to see the title defended almost every pay-per-view. So
yeah.
And then they have I almost lost my train of thought there for a second. I think at Backlash, the rumor is that they want to maybe do another superstar shakeup at Backlash, and I think that's why they're going to go back to the dual brands. I don't know if that's for sure. I know obviously the dual brands are coming back. WWE did confirm that, but I think at Backlash, because they did do it last year, they did the superstar shakeup, and they did it in a way they've never done it before. Whereas Vince came out, I think the night after WrestleMania last year, and he said, next week we're going to shake things up again. And it wasn't like they came out and said, all right, so and so's drafted to Raw, so and so's drafted to SmackDown. They just showed up. I remember The Miz just randomly showed up, or no, because I remember he came out to John Cena's music. It was after WrestleMania, and they were imitating John Cena and everything. And then Dean Ambrose just shows up from SmackDown and all that stuff, and you weren't going to know who was there until they actually showed up. So it'll be interesting to see how they go and do that again. But I did hear a rumor that at Backlash, they're maybe going to do some sort of superstar shakeup or draft, something like that. I don't know for sure, but that's what I'm hearing, and I would like that idea. Obviously, I think they're going to do it regardless. It's good to once a year shake things up because you got your certain amount of superstars on Raw, you got your certain amount of superstars on SmackDown, and after 365 days, it's like, all right, how much more can you do with the certain amount of superstars you have? You got to shake things up a little bit. So I'm looking forward to seeing if they do some kind of shake up at Backlash and how they do that going forward. But speaking of going forward now, we still have a couple of pay-per-views, brand exclusive pay-per-views before WrestleMania, one of those being obviously Elimination Chamber, which is a week from today. And really the big headline right now of Elimination Chamber is that Ronda Rousey will be there to sign her Raw contract. And, of course, Hunter was saying a while ago that the ticket sales for Elimination Chamber not doing very well, and I think this is obviously a big ploy into getting some butts in the seats, having Ronda Rousey there. What I'm curious to find out is, obviously, it doesn't matter if you're signing a Raw contract, a contract for a match. Someone's coming out. Tables are going to get flipped. Somebody's going to get slapped. Something's going to happen. So what I'm curious to see is, who's going to come out and confront Ronda? Obviously, the reports we talked about in the last couple of weeks is that Ronda's being brought here to maybe make Stephanie a mainstream star, and the rumor match is a mixed tag match with Ronda and maybe The Rock, maybe Strowman, maybe Kurt Angle. We don't know yet. Is they're going to take on Stephanie and Triple H. So is there going to be a confrontation with Stephanie? Because I have a feeling Stephanie will be involved no matter what in this contract. She's been the head of the Divas Revolution ever since it started with Sasha, Charlotte, Becky, and all of them and whatnot. So I'm curious to see how this contract's going to go down, how this contract signing is going to go down. What's going to happen with Stephanie, or if is WrestleMania going to be Ronda's first match? I would think, in my opinion, you got to have her wrestle before that to get her that experience in front of a live audience. You can't have this woman who, look, I respect what she's done in the MMA world, but this is you're on another planet now in WWE. You cannot have somebody like this, especially somebody that you're putting all your eggs in a basket for, have their first match at a stage like WrestleMania, especially against somebody like Stephanie, who, let's face it, not exactly a great pro wrestler. So I'm hoping that maybe somebody else comes out and says, well, you know what? Let's fight on Raw tomorrow night or something, because obviously Elimination Chamber is going to be the last Raw pay-per-view before WrestleMania. So
yeah, but at the same time, at one time, Ronda Rousey was the hottest thing on earth. Like, everybody knew who Ronda Rousey was, so she knows big stage.
Well, see, that's the thing now. She's kind of, she went, because after she lost to Amanda Nunes in 48 seconds or whatever it was, she kind of went away for about a year, and then all of a sudden she just pops back up. She might be coming to WWE, and then she shows up at the Rumble. So, and in my opinion, whatever happened in the Octagon with her, that does not matter anymore. It's a whole fresh start for her. They can do whatever they want with her, because this is pro wrestling. This is not MMA, and I think it's a nice fresh start for Ronda. I just hope they use her the right way, and I hope that she can wrestle. That's the only doubt that I have right now, because I know she can come out. She could probably cut a good promo. She's been in movies. She's a solid actress. And she has the ability to, she's obviously was a MMA world champion. So can she wrestle? That's the number one thing that I have. Can she get in there, do all these moves, these holds, and have that chemistry in the ring like like a Asuka does, a Charlotte, a Becky, and Sasha. All those women are great wrestlers. I just hope that she has the ability to be able to wrestle with the likes of a Charlotte, Sasha, a Bayley, a Nia Jax. Well, hopefully she can wrestle better than Nia Jax. But Nia Jax is coming around. She's coming around, I think. So, but that's my only concern with Ronda so far.
Yeah, and I think, she's a world champion in grappling. So, I think she'll do fine. She's got a great base for it. Mm-hmm. You come in and you already know how to roll. You know how to grapple. It's obviously she's going to have things to learn. But the thing that gets me, and I don't know about what you guys are thinking about this, but where did you hear that report? Was that the Wrestling Observer about her putting over Stephanie?
I want to say it was Dave Meltzer that said that on Twitter.
And I sure hope that's another thing that Dave Meltzer is wrong about. Look, I don't think that Stephanie has a small ego, but this has to be coming from Triple H. The man has the biggest ego on the planet, especially in the biz. And then he's like, hey, we can use Ronda to put you over. No! Stay in the office. You are an executive. You never were a wrestler. The only person in your family that was close to a wrestler, maybe Shane, he's put on a heck of a match at a time or two. Stay in the office. Do what you do best. Make this company money. Get Triple H a water every now and again so he can spit it out. And then just do your job. You're an executive. Stay back there. Don't let Triple H's ego ruin Ronda Rousey. You have something great here. We talked about in the last podcast with them letting Rey Mysterio slip through your hands. Well, you have her on contract. Don't let Ronda Rousey slip through your hands.
Hunter, what you think, man?
It's interesting you brought that up, especially with Triple H. And this goes to being back to a old school fan, but when they brought Sting in to feud with Triple H at WrestleMania, and they had him lose to Triple H, I didn't understand the business decision behind that. To me, I felt like Sting had a world championship run in him. He had proved it at TNA. He had been there for all those years. He was still in great shape at that time. I never got that. I can see Triple H doing something like that, getting Stephanie over Ronda. If you're going to bring a name like that in, you got to build her up. You got to make her like Brock Lesnar. She has to be unbeatable. She's got to be the top face of the company, because let's face it, I feel like Brock Lesnar's on his way out to go back to MMA or UFC or wherever he's going. To bring her in and potentially her first match being at WrestleMania, and she loses to Stephanie, I don't understand that business decision. It's really not something that I can see. If they really go through with that, then shame on Vince McMahon, because he ultimately has the final say-so. So,
of course, he's going to let his baby girl get over, though.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, because the one and only interaction they've had was at WrestleMania 31 when The Rock, grabbed Ronda out of the front row, and she handled Stephanie pretty well, and it was embarrassing for the character of Stephanie McMahon in a way. So because she was telling Rock, what you gonna do about it? You gonna hit a woman? And, well, I may not hit a woman, but I know someone who would be more than happy to. And it goes and grabs Ronda Rousey, who at the time, this was before Ronda ever got her head kicked off by Holly Holm. Ronda, this is at the time Ronda was the hottest thing in MMA, and
probably in the world.
Yeah, in the world. And so now things have changed a little bit, obviously, since then. But if they put Stephanie over on Ronda, that will be the worst booking decision in years that WWE has had. I don't think they will, because, like I said, they're putting all their eggs in a basket for Ronda. I mean, she came out and sort of, I guess in a way, ruined Asuka's moment. I don't want to say I don't know. That's debatable, I guess. But to have Ronda come out when she did, and, that's the only reason I think the Women's Royal Rumble was last at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, definitely.
And then now you have her signing her contract. And look, she's supposed to be a full-time wrestler now. So after she signs this contract, I'm expecting to see her on Monday Night Raw, because I know she was filming a movie in Colombia, which I believe should be done. Yeah. She should be done with now. So now, hey, look, she said, even in an interview, this is number one on her priority. I want to see her wrestling, and she doesn't have to go in there and wrestle Asuka on the first night. She doesn't have to go wrestle with Sasha. Have her wrestle one of the, Mandy Rose or Sonya Deville or something like that. You got plenty of women back there who she can kind of tussle with to really get her, I don't want to say ring rust out, but that's pretty much what it is. I mean, I don't know if she's been performing in this performance center or training or whatnot, but obviously you have to get out in front of a live audience and do the thing before you can step foot on a WrestleMania stage or something like that.
Yeah, the word was for a time that she was training with Natalya.
And that's a good woman to wrestle with. She's, obviously coming from the Hart family. She
that'd make a great feud too.
Oh, that would make a damn good feud. So I think, and that's, like I said, a good person for her to train from. So hopefully she's been at the Performance Center, training, and hopefully, like I said, that's the only doubt I have is, can she wrestle with the likes of all these top women? That's the only concern I have of Ronda. And of course, if Stephanie, if she puts Stephanie over, that would be terrible. But
right.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that I think you're a little bit smarter than that to put Stephanie over Ronda. Come on now.
And I really think it's going to depend on who Ronda's partner is. If she partners with The Rock, there's no way they both can lose at WrestleMania. I don't see that happening. Kurt Angle, Braun Strowman, then maybe, but if it's The Rock, there's no way. I don't see that happening.
I was scrolling down on Twitter right here, and I don't know how credible this source is, but this is it's a guy with 1,400 followers. According to multiple sources, and this was 3 days ago, Seth Rollins and Ronda Rousey versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon is now being rumored to take place, and another rumored plan for Seth is to go against Finn Balor, but then now I'm hearing Seth might go against Kurt Angle, so this is obviously all going to take shape after Elimination Chamber. That's what I did read, because Cena came out last week and was talking about how WrestleMania is where legends, come back from the dead, and right then and there you think, oh, the Undertaker's going to come out, and of course the Miz came out, but I think they're still going to go forth with Cena and the Undertaker. I think at WrestleMania, which is a few years too late, but I suppose better late than never. And they're going to start planting these seeds after Elimination Chamber. So within the next couple of weeks, these WrestleMania feuds are going to really start to take shape.
Yeah, Cena Taker still put butts in the seat.
Oh, absolutely. I'll watch it.
Now, can you imagine how many movies WWE is going to put Ronda Rousey in now?
Too many.
Oh, yeah.
She'll probably be the first woman Marine movie.
She could. She was in Furious 7, I think.
Yep, she was.
So
she's a great actress.
No, she is. Like I said, that's why I have no doubts about her cutting a promo. The only bad thing is I think she's going to be a face. So the fact that, and then like I said, don't come out smiling and be all just happy to be here. Like, you got to put that game face on. Like, I'm here to win championships. I'm here to be the top woman in this division. Don't come out here just being happy to be here, because she's a lifelong fan. Obviously, her mentor was Roddy Piper, and she even wore his jacket, at the Royal Rumble and everything. So I think from that perspective, she has a great respect for the business. I mean, having been a fan all of her life. So, like I said, the only doubt I have is can she put on a good wrestling match? That's all.
Yeah, and then, of course, like the first few matches she's going to have, whoever's wrestling with her is going to have to take care of her in the ring.
Yep.
Oh,
they're going to have to make her look good.
And that's why I think she should first off, fight off against a Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, one of these lower. Don't put her up against a Charlotte. Well, Charlotte first, which she's not on Raw, but like a Nia Jax, Asuka, or Bayley. Don't put Ronda in the ring with those women. Give her a Mickey James,
or put her up against Natalya. I mean, she's been training with her, so right. I mean, let them go at it. Yeah,
and put her up against like a Mickey James, a veteran who right now is not really at the top of the women's division, not really in the title picture. Although I think she's in the women's Elimination Chamber match. So
it's still a pretty big name. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be interesting to see after she signs the contract if she's going to be on Raw every week or if she's just going to go to WrestleMania. I don't know. So I guess we'll see.
And going back, I think you had touched on it a little bit earlier, saying what's her role at Elimination Chamber? Honestly, when she comes out to sign the contract, I really do think the whole women's locker room is going to come out to challenge her, and then Stephanie's music's going to hit, and I think that's where the real showdown is going to happen. That's what I could see happen.
I would love that, honestly, because I feel like when she came out and she extended her hand to Asuka, and Asuka just slapped it away, and then Charlotte and Alexa didn't really, acknowledge her much more either. That there is and then obviously the women, some of the women like Nia Jax, I think a couple of other women, they tweeted after the Royal Rumble kind of their, displeasure about Ronda coming out really stealing the spotlight. So right now they're kind of giving off that vibe that it's the women's locker room versus Ronda Rousey, and I would really like that idea.
I think that's where they're going to swerve everybody. Is everybody thinks, okay, one of the wrestlers is going to come out and challenge her. No, I think it's going to be Stephanie. She's going to come out and start a feud with her.
If anything, let Ronda whip her butt, get that out of the way, so that way Ronda can go start having matches with the real women.
Ronda's got to do something in Elimination Chamber. She's got to, I'm not saying wrestle, but she's got to perform some sort of move on somebody. So
hopefully, like I said, I haven't. The last time Stephanie actually wrestled in a match, I think, was against was it Nikki Bella at SummerSlam a couple of years ago? Now I know. Hopefully, her skills have improved like Shane's has. Shane has improved, in my opinion, as an in-ring performer. So hopefully, maybe Stephanie's learning a thing or two from her brother. But I tell you what. And I'll never forget the first ever Monday Night Raw I attended as a 9-year-old. The main event was Lita versus Stephanie McMahon for the Women's Championship, and The Rock was the special guest referee. And look, I go back and you can watch that match on YouTube. It's like an 8-minute match. And man, Stephanie's just... How was she ever the women's champion? I mean, she was just not that good. She was a great heel as being Triple H's wife and whatnot, but as an in-ring performer, I'm hoping now she's much better, obviously, and can put on a much better match. But then again, it's going to be a mixed match. You can have Triple H in there and then whoever Ronda's partner is. So I think that match, as long as Ronda wins and whoever her partner is, that match could be really good, and it could be really good for Ronda going forward.
Quick sidebar. Triple H did this whole deal with Ronda, and he's done a lot of deals with everybody that's been coming through. One thing I've always wondered, I wonder what Vince thinks. I really wonder what Vince thinks about Ronda. Does he look at her as a Brock Lesnar that could come in and make him some money, or does he look at her as she could be a legitimate wrestler that could stick around for a while? I've always wondered that. I've always wondered what he thought.
That would be an interesting perspective from Vince, because Vince, man, he sometimes you don't know what the hell's going on in Vince's head.
Yeah. That's right.
But it seems like, hey, they got her full-time, and...
See, that's what I was going to say. They gave her a full-time contract, so I think that shows some confidence in her.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, she'd just be a part-time performer, I would imagine.
Right. And like I said, they put all the eggs in a basket for her. They kind of, already, like her first night there, boom, she made an impact just by coming out at the end of the Women's Rumble, and now she's going to have her own segment signing a Raw contract. So they're really hyping her up, and, I mean, it was obviously all over ESPN, all over the news and everything.
Everywhere.
So I think... Ronda is WWE's ticket. Obviously, in my opinion, WWE isn't mainstream because we're all big pro wrestling fans. But for those people who may be just MMA fans or whatever that are not wrestling fans, they're trying to pull in all those people, and they're trying to pull in the mainstream, I guess, mainstream folks, I guess is the way to put it. They're trying to pull all those people in to just to watch Ronda Rousey just because of her name. So
right.
I mean, she's an attraction. I mean, there's no getting over that. She's an attraction.
She is, and
in many ways.
But I agree. I think partially Vince thinks she's similar. It's like a Brock Lesnar, because now he's like a prize fighter. He'll only fight 4, 5, 6 times a year at most, and fortunately, I think Ronda's going to fight a lot more than that.
I do too. I really think she's going to be around for a while.
But speaking of Elimination Chamber, the scorecards for Elimination Chamber, they will be available on Wednesday, sometime after lunch. We'll put the post on our Facebook page, Mark Out Mania, also on Twitter at Mark Out Mania. Go follow PW scorecards. That's where we get our scorecards from. They're fun. Play along with us, and they really make the pay-per-views that much better, in my opinion. And speaking of Elimination Chamber, right now only 3 matches scheduled, so I'm assuming they're going to have at least 2 more come out. Braun Strowman, Elias, John Cena, Roman Reigns, The Miz, Finn Balor, and Seth Rollins in the first ever 7-man Elimination Chamber match. Also, the Raw Women's title will be on the line. Alexa Bliss defending against Bayley, Mandy Rose, Mickie James, Sonya Deville, and Sasha Banks. And also, Asuka and Nia Jax, they'll be fighting. It'd be Asuka's record, basically, against Nia's chance to get in the Raw Women's title match at WrestleMania. That match has the potential to be really, really good, I think. I hope it's good. Nia Jax is hit and miss for me. Asuka's amazing, obviously. And right now, that's the only 3 matches. 2 of the 3 matches are women's matches. So, I don't know. I'm hoping they add some more matches. I'm thinking maybe we might see a Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt again, which I think they're somewhat dropping the ball in that feud, in my opinion, but hopefully they can revamp that, because, man, when Broken Matt came into WWE, man, I was excited as anybody, and then ever since then, it's like, it's been a little lackluster for me. But I don't know. In the past year, it seems like any of Bray Wyatt's feuds have just been lackluster. I don't know what's going on, because Bray Wyatt, he's put on some tremendous matches. One of my favorite matches still ever was, I think, the Royal Rumble in 2013. Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt opened up that pay-per-view, and, I mean, put on an amazing match. And I'm just wondering, where that Bray Wyatt's gone. So I think he doesn't have his Wyatt family with him now.
Exactly. That's what I was fixing to say. If he had a stable, he would be one of the hottest things right now. Mm-hmm. His character has to have a stable. He's the crazy Jim Jones dude that gets all these people to drink his Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? If he doesn't have anybody to drink his Kool-Aid, then what is he?
Yeah, I really do think the WWE dropped the ball on him as a character, though. I mean, they put him in a lot of feuds that I think he should have gone over in, and he didn't. I mean, going back to WrestleMania 30, I really think he should have won over John Cena. Mm-hmm. That just would have built him and built him and built him, and and then they had him lose against The Undertaker the next WrestleMania. I think it just went downhill from there. He's an interesting character. He's almost like an Undertaker, and I really think they could have built him up a lot more. Just really disappointed how they've kind of watered him down.
Yeah, they really have. Yeah. And it took a little too long for them to put a strap on him.
Yeah,
because he never had a tag team title belt with anybody. He never had the U.S. title, Intercontinental title. He first won the WWE title a year ago at I think it was the Elimination Chamber. He won. That was his first title he ever won. So I think they took a little too long to put a title on him. And then I don't know, just I did like the storyline with him and Orton, obviously, because Orton was part of the Wyatt family. But the WrestleMania match was just it wasn't there. And then they had the House of Horrors match, which was really not that good. And I don't know. I think they're just kind of they like I said, I think his career could still be revived, but they just got to book him better, man. They're just not booking him that good at all.
They got to get him some minions.
I mean, when you come in and your first feud is with Kane, I mean that's pretty big. And, I mean, it seemed like they were building him up for a while. It just seemed like they gave up on the character a little bit. So
it'll be interesting to see what his role in WrestleMania is going to be.
Yeah, one of the matches that sticks out like a sore thumb to me on here is Alexa Bliss versus Bayley. Now, we've heard about in the past how they've pretty much given up on Bayley. Mm-hmm. And this just seems to me like, because we were talking before how it's been forever since Bliss has defended her title. This seems just like a throwaway match to me. Mm-hmm. Like, I guess they're saving the belt for somebody else to take, but I mean, it's like, it's obvious who's going to win that match.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. The thing about Bayley is, I don't know. I mean, I think she's somewhat over. But I don't know. I mean, she did win the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania last year. She went in as the champion and went out as the champion. So it's kind of confusing why, maybe back then they had more of a, they were more optimistic about her. But now, I don't know. I mean, I think she's a great wrestler. They just, I don't know. And if anything, she, she's the how can I say this? She appeals to the target audience that they're trying to get to now. Kids. I mean, she's the
hugger.
Exactly, the hugger. Like, hug life, man. Like, and I mean, I think she's a great wrestler, and she's not good on the mic, in my opinion. No. Give her a mouthpiece, give her a Heyman or somebody. And I think, or if anything, you know what? Let her do her thing in the ring, and then I think that the promos will come later. Yeah. And there's so much, I guess, fuel they could give her. Like, she can come out, cut a promo like, you know what, they're not giving me a chance. I'm one of the best, and but they don't do that. I don't know who determines what she says and all that, but she has the potential, in my opinion, to definitely come out there. There's a lot of content she can come out and cut a good promo with. But
yeah, you know what? They should find the acting coach that AJ Styles had in TNA. Yeah. And give that dude a job. Yep. Because I don't know if y'all remember some of the early AJ Styles promos in TNA. Absolutely garbage. Mm-hmm. This dude was bad on the mic. And obviously he's not the best now, but he's a whole lot better.
Oh, yeah.
And they had acting coaches in TNA, which I'm sure they do.
Well, the good thing about AJ, he could always back it up in the ring.
Yes, he can.
He always could back it up in the ring. All right, so let's see. Now, moving on. Now, Elimination Chamber coming up. We'll have our preview show sometime. Probably we talked about maybe Saturday, but just stay tuned to our social media. We'll let you know when we're going to do that. an injured superstar working out now at the Performance Center. Hunter was telling us about this. Hunter, what you got there on the return of this big injured superstar?
Yeah, they're saying it's being reported that Big Cass seems to be in great shape following a 6 months absence for a torn ACL. He's already started to work out at the Performance Center per that source. So could a WrestleMania appearance be in the store? Surprise appearance? Could they bring him back for the Andre the Giant Battle Royal? I could see him winning that. So but that's interesting. The whole Enzo thing. They were tagging and then they feuded against each other. It's going to be interesting what they do with him because I could see him as a big attraction down the road as he builds his character, and it's interesting to see what they'll do with him.
I tell you what they need to do. They need to change his theme music because, man, it sounds like they went on the WWE 2K18 game and said, give me generic 18 for a Big Cass there. Because I tell you what, because, man, look, he's got the look. He's got the look. I think he will have the ability to put on some great matches. His promo skills need a little bit of work, in my opinion. But, I mean, he's another guy. Give him a mouthpiece. He could easily be a Heyman guy. He's a heel. So when Lesnar leaves, Heyman's going to be free to really kind of, and I think there was a rumor that maybe they were going to give Heyman to Ronda, which I would like that idea
awesome.
too. But Big Cass is going to be interesting because anybody he ever feuded with, whether it's Enzo, Big Show's not really around that much. Also, and Enzo is not there. So and I do like the idea. If he does come back at WrestleMania, that would be perfect. Come back in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Have him win it, and then find you a good summer storyline for Big Cass. Where come on now, let's face it, him and Enzo, that was a good storyline because they were tag team partners. But I mean, come on now, wrestling wise, let's face it. I mean, Cass would destroy Enzo any day of the week.
Yeah,
and then of course he feuded with the Big Show, and the Big Show, hey, look, he's. I mean, I'm over the Big Show already.
He's a prop.
Yeah, he's an attraction is what he is.
Yep.
He's an attraction now. And you need to put this guy in the ring with, I don't know, I'm trying to think of some...
Well, like I said earlier, him and Braun Strowman would be a great feud for the summer. I don't know what Braun's plans are for WrestleMania and after, but I could definitely see that being a feud. Don't put him in a tag team. I like him as a singles competitor. So put him up against a big name like Braun and let him make a name for himself. So.
Yeah, I also think maybe at the Superstar Shakeup, you send him to SmackDown.
Yeah,
and maybe he starts hassling Carmella. Right? To get some of that real life rub on it. And then one of the SmackDown superstars comes to save her day.
Yeah.
And you got a feud right there.
Yeah,
that'd be an easy feud.
Would be a good feud, I think? I just thought about it. Bobby Roode would be, I think, a pretty
solid
good feud.
Yep.
Like a U.S. title feud, that would be a really good feud, I think. Bobby Roode. And, so, like I said, that's the thing. They have so many options. And, when the Superstar Shakeup obviously comes, hopefully, around Backlash, then they're going to have these new, fresh feuds because, you were talking earlier about the tag team divisions. It's been all the same tag teams really for almost the past year.
Yep.
So, a Superstar Shakeup right now would be pretty good, especially for a Big Cass who right now, how do you put him back into the storyline? Because anybody he ever feuded with ever since he broke up with Enzo, they're all gone or not really around that much.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. But I do like that idea of, maybe hassling Carmella, get that real-life rub into it. That would be pretty cool. But now WWE is known. They have, done real-life stuff like that. Obviously, Cena, proposed to Nikki at WrestleMania. The Miz and Maurice. And then before Tyson Kidd, was hurt, they, and then that one time the Miz mentioned how, Renee was sleeping with Dean and all that stuff. So they've been known to really bring up the real-life stuff before. So a Big Cass, Carmella kind of thing. And then Carmella was actually... When they were in NXT, Enzo and Cass, Carmella was like their manager, I guess, in a way. There was times, and I think that really went well together because just the way Enzo was, the way Carmella was, and Big Cass was kind of like the big, the body basically for him. I think that worked. Which, in my opinion, I don't think they ever should have broke up that tag team. I think that tag team was they were really good. Big Cass, obviously the big muscle. Enzo, the mouthpiece. I mean, it was a unique, but it was a fun combination. And when they split him up, I said, man, because Enzo obviously can't wrestle on his own, and
shows how much he they really put faith in him. They moved him to 205 Live, which is not a bad spot, but I mean it's pretty much off the main roster, main card. So I just hope they don't put Big Cass by the wayside. I really do hope they find something for him. I know we're going to talk about this later, but the whole Andre the Giant Battle Royal thing, I mean, with the new documentary coming out, if they have him win it, they have to push him. So they want to push this documentary and do more with Bill Simmons. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him.
I'm very interested in that docu. I think it's gonna be on HBO. That documentary. Yeah, I saw the preview for that. Man, that looks really good. So Big Cass working out at the Performance Center. Hopefully we see him back for WrestleMania. And hopefully he's got a nice little feud going forward. If we don't see him at WrestleMania, I think the night after we're gonna see him return for sure. So that's
in which they always do a lot of surprises. Or
Now, let's jump into the rumor mill. Ryan, you got something. I got to take on this too, but go ahead and tell us what you got, the first thing you got in the rumor mill.
Do you want me to start with that one first, or we'll do that last?
The fact that WWE, the possibility of them being sold.
So it's being reported that WWE could possibly be sold to Disney, Fox, or possibly Facebook. I saw this on Sportskeeda. And apparently, Stephanie McMahon did an interview with Bloomberg Business Week, and she said about selling, "We've certainly thought about it. It would be foolish not to." Interesting.
It would not be a foolish move whatsoever, but at the same time, it's been the McMahon family for a long time now. Selling it, I mean, your return on investment would be astronomically great because probably when it was first purchased, not that much money, obviously, but now you probably have 10 times that much. But, it's kind of like a legacy thing. You something like that, you'd think you'd want to keep it in the family, keep it going for their, because obviously Stephanie and Triple H have, I think, 3 girls and no boys or anything, but, keep it going for them, and then they can, because obviously, now with the whole women's revolution thing, why not, leave it to your 3 daughters? And Shane has 3 boys too, so, you got 3 girls, 3 boys, you got plenty of, Vince, you got plenty of grandkids at least to, keep it going for. Maybe, I would think out of those 6 kids, 1 or 2 of them at least would want to keep the company going. And, because for a while, Shane wasn't in WWE, but Stephanie really was taking the reins, and then Shane comes back now. Shane's got a good, tight grip on it. But as far as them being sold, I hope they don't, because I feel like they would sell it to somebody who honestly wouldn't even know what to do with it. They would have no idea, because in my opinion, there's been nobody else other than Vince McMahon. Ted Turner. I mean, Eric Bischoff kind of knew what to do with WCW, but as far as like a sprint goes, but in a marathon, nobody has been able to hang with the likes of Vince McMahon, or WWE, or anything like that. So my only fear is that if they sell it, they're going to sell it to somebody that's just going to pretty much run it into the ground and not know what the hell to do with it. Hunter, what you think?
Well, that's pretty much what I was going to allude to. Is that was the difference between WCW and WWE back in the day. As WCW, I felt, was run by all the Indians. There was no chief. There was a chief, but you had like Kevin Nash and Ric Flair who wanted to run things their way. WWE, one person, Vince McMahon. Doesn't matter. You can debate it all day, but when it comes down to it, it's his final decision. If you sell this company off to a Disney or a Time Warner or whoever, now you're going to go back to a whole bunch of Indians trying to run the show. I just don't see it lasting long if that happens. And, why not keep it in the family? That's just I hate to be biased or negative, but that's just something I could see Stephanie and Triple H doing for a big payday. And, Vince McMahon built that company to what it is today. I can't see that happening as long as Vince is alive. He's too much of a control freak. Mm-hmm. I can't see it. So
yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't think it'll happen until after Vince is dead.
Yeah.
But I really don't see Stephanie and Triple H doing it either, because she, obviously her part has grown over the years, but she has been there and been a part of it when it started to get to where it is today. So she has... what's the word that I'm looking for? She has that connection to the business where she helped it grow to where it is today. I mean, she started traveling around with Vince when she was a little kid, And
she was answering phones at like 14 years old.
Yeah, and then Triple H obviously has an immense passion for the business, and it's in all their blood. third generation, I can see selling it off pretty quick, saying, hey, we didn't have a hand in making it what it is. It doesn't really mean much to us, but all these zeros on this check that Disney wants to sign over surely means a lot to us.
Yeah, and of course, Triple H, he's been there, ever since he started. I mean, he was in WCW a while back, but once he got to WWE, he's been all WWE true and blue, ever since then. And he's obviously played a big role in the up-and-coming NXT, now 205 Live. So he's invested a lot, not just with himself into this company as a performer, but now as an executive, as the guy who runs NXT and everything. He's put so much into it from all kind of different perspectives that I couldn't see Triple H. If anything, we mentioned it, if Vince wants to sell it and Triple H has the money, then heck, buy it from Triple H. Why don't you buy the company? If Triple H buys that company, oh my goodness, can you imagine how much better it's going to be, especially from like just an in-ring performance wise, how much better it's going to be. It would be, I mean, you obviously see, the results with NXT, and then you're going to eventually see the results with 205 Live now that he's running the show there. So, if anything, if Vince, Stephanie, if y'all want to sell this company, there's one man you need to sell that company to, and that's Triple H.
Yeah, he would either get better, or Triple H would put every strap on him, and he would even tag with himself to get the tag belts.
Well, and one thing I also think about is, with Vince, I feel like for the most part, he keeps a lot of real-life things out, politics and stuff. He tries to go there. Disney and all that, I could see that happening, and that's just not something for the wrestling world. Keep it kayfabe,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things going on in rumor mill. Obviously, nothing's nothing. I don't think they plan on selling it, but the possibility is always there. Now, another thing in the rumor mill, WWE could possibly in the future sign a pro athlete. Was that you that brought that up? Or was that you, Ryan?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
The Wrestling Observer is reporting that WWE is considering signing Rob Gronkowski to a full-time contract. And he was actually asked about this after they lost the Super Bowl, and here's his quote. "I don't know how you heard about that." So, obviously we know it's been in talks. He said, "I don't know how you heard about that, but I mean, I'm definitely going to look at my future for sure. I'm going to sit down in the next couple of weeks and see where I'm at."
Well, of course, after the Super Bowl, Rob, the rumor was maybe he was going to go to Hollywood, have a movie career, and stuff like that. And obviously, Rob has made an appearance on WWE before at WrestleMania. Was it 33?
33. It was in Orlando.
It was in Orlando. So last year, he made an appearance helping out Mojo win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Who's a real-life friend.
Yeah. And, Rob... Isn't Rob the guy that they've had videos of him like suplexing people in clubs and stuff like that? So, I mean, I guess he's got a little bit of practice in there. He's suplexing people in clubs and whatnot, getting crazy and stuff. So, now Rob, obviously, kind of like a Ronda, has the name recognition as a professional athlete. And let's face it, Rob's done just about everything he can do in pro football. I mean, he's won a Super Bowl. He's been to the Pro Bowl. He's probably, he's caught passes from one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Tom Brady, and whatnot. And, if I'm Rob, I'm thinking, okay, what else can I do here in, other than maybe win like an NFL MVP, but let's face it, a tight end, that's a little far-fetched.
Yeah, and you're on the same team as Tom Brady, so if anybody's going to get it, it's going to be TB12.
And I don't know, so I think it would be cool, obviously, to have Rob. I think we will see Rob Gronkowski again in a WWE ring. Whether or not it's going to be full-time, part-time, a one-off thing, I don't know, but... I think Rob is entertaining the idea of going to professional wrestling.
So my question is, how do they use him if they sign him? Is it going to be actual feuds? I mean, do you use him just one-offs here and there? Like, what do y'all think?
I think what they should do is obviously, team him up with Mojo.
That'd be pretty cool.
They're trying, they always try to, push Mojo. Have Rob Gronkowski, because obviously Zack Ryder, I guess, couldn't really help him, but a Rob Gronkowski who's a big old dude and a big athletic dude. Like I said, all he's got to do is learn how to wrestle, and him and Mojo on the tag team, I think that would help get Mojo over, and I could see Rob running down there being all hype with Mojo. I mean, Rob's that kind of guy,
Oh, yeah.
So, I think that would be a good way to go. Obviously, in pro wrestling, you have a tag team go for a little ways. They'll split up. Something like that would happen. They'll feud, and then that right there would kind of help Rob kind of get his feet wet as far as a pro wrestling career, and then maybe have a singles run after that. So, but obviously that's this is just
that'd be interesting.
Man, I just thought of a great fantasy book. So if they get together as a tag team, Ryder gets Matt Morgan on his team.
Oh,
that would be great. I was thinking about the Gronkowski thing. He's had some issues with concussions. I'm wondering how well that would translate into the ring.
As Daniel Bryan, I mean,
yeah,
they
probably
don't,
not too well, but
yeah, I mean they don't joke with that stuff anymore. I mean it's and that goes back to them signing him. I mean they know he's had concussion problems. Do they take the risk of signing him, and then the first match he's in, he gets a concussion? Well, we can't use you anymore, but we're going to pay you all this money still. So
yeah.
I mean, it's a
fine,
cool.
He would
pay
be
me all
too.
this money, just hang out. All right,
yeah.
I'm
I
fine
guess
with
he
that.
could just be, he could come on and be a general manager or something, be a voice.
Yeah, because like you said, he already has the name recognition, so he could have a non-wrestling type of role somewhere in there if that were to happen.
I
but
just
also,
hope the security guard from WrestleMania 33 doesn't keep him from signing.
yeah, she gonna hold him back. So, all right, some more stuff in the rumor mill. Hunter, you had a few things. The first thing about Goldberg maybe being at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I read. I think it was Dave Meltzer who actually reported it. The Andre the Giant Battle Royal, it's been kind of lackluster ever since the first one at WrestleMania 30. They're reporting that maybe they're going to bring Goldberg in to win the Battle Royal in connection with the film that's coming out on HBO. I think it's March or April, but WWE's excited about that partnership because they want to do more with Bill Simmons. So, you bring Bill Goldberg in as a surprise entrant, let him win, but then again, you want to build it up, but do you use Goldberg after that? Is it just a one-off? That's why I really think maybe somebody like Big Cass who could come back and play a surprise entrant and win that, but I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to think about bringing somebody back like Bill Goldberg because probably the Big Show's going to come back. Mark Henry's going to come back to try to win it. But that'd be pretty interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Also, something about Kurt Angle's possible WrestleMania opponent.
Yeah, we talked earlier, Ronda Rousey is probably going to have a partner against Triple H and Stephanie at WrestleMania. Well, now they're saying that Kurt Angle could possibly be that partner if The Rock can't do it. They're saying The Rock's his insurance that has to do with all his movies could possibly prohibit him from wrestling at WrestleMania. So they've talked about Seth Rollins, they've talked about Kurt Angle, Braun Strowman. I thought ever since they signed Kurt Angle last year, he was going to wrestle a lot more than he has, and I think he's wrestled twice since he's been back.
That's 2 more times, I think, because I remember at one time, probably about a month and a half before he teamed up with Rollins and Ambrose at TLC.
Yeah.
They had no intention of Angle wrestling in 2017. Oh, wow. And then he wrestled with the Shield, and then he was the captain of Team Raw at Survivor Series. So we've actually seen more of Angle, I think, than WWE initially had planned on having. So because as of right now, it doesn't even seem like, to me, in my opinion, that he's even going to have a WrestleMania match. But obviously Seth Rollins would make sense to me. I think that's... In my opinion, I think that's where they're going, obviously, because Rollins and Jordan, they're having kind of a beef with one another. And now Jordan, he won't be at WrestleMania, so they could easily set something up with Rollins and Angle at WrestleMania, which I think that would be one hell of a match. That would be a great match,
yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go with that. I mean, anybody you put up with Ronda Rousey is going to be a big attraction. So, I mean, do you go with Kurt Angle? I really do think The Rock's going to be her partner, though. I think they're going to try to bring him back and make that probably could be the main event of the whole show. So
it very well could be, although it could be. I still think we're going to see Reigns and Lesnar as the main event, which I've been saying it for weeks now. As long as the build-up is better than it was last time. The match wasn't bad. The match was actually okay. The build-up to it was just
horrible.
Like, the worst thing was when they're in the ring just tugging on the belt.
Oh, my God.
Dude.
That was so non-Brock Lesnar.
Might as well have them throw pillows at one another.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like I said, if the build-up it has to be much better than it was last time, which I think it can be. But I think those two guys are going to put on one hell of a match. I think they can, at least. And But I don't know, Lesnar's matches lately, to me, other than the one he had against AJ at Survivor Series, which...
It's pretty much been all the same. I mean, he really doesn't have a lot of moves. I mean, he has his UFC stockpile that I call it, but it's been... His performances have been very lackluster lately, I think. So
yeah, and I think now's a good time. You talked a little bit earlier about he may be going back to UFC after WrestleMania, which...
And I think he wants to. Yeah, I really think he wants to go back.
Me and him both. I want him to, too, because, look, when Lesnar's fighting, I'm watching. I'm intrigued. And I think, he came back in 2012, and now he's going to be gone after WrestleMania, possibly. I mean, he was here for 6 years in his second run. I think that was actually longer than his first run in WWE, and his second run, arguably, as far as what he accomplished, is better than his first run. So he came back, he had a good run, and now I think it's time. Okay, look, go back to UFC, do what you got to do, because that's one less person that's going to hold the Universal title hostage. Now Roman's going to, we all expect Roman to win the Universal title at WrestleMania. Now you can go over the summer, you can defend it against the likes of a Finn Balor. Who else we got on Raw? Like maybe even The Miz. Who you said, Elijah? Well, AJ's got the WWE title, which that's where that title needs to stay. But I wouldn't be mad.
Even Seth Rollins,
Yeah, Seth Rollins or something like that, because Ambrose is going to be out probably
for
until
a while. Yeah.
But I'm hoping I'm also hoping when Ambrose, when he comes back, that they could do the Shield thing, man, because that obviously
it worked.
It was going to work, and
it
then
worked.
It just Roman got sick or whatever for the TLC, and then now Rollins. Keep saying Rollins. Ambrose is hurt, so that's going to be interesting as well. Also, one more thing in the rumor mill, possibly Rey Mysterio's future in WWE.
And I think y'all talked about it last week. They said he's expected to sign a part-time contract with WWE, maybe in 2019, maybe this year. They said the deal is going to be similar to that of Jericho's. He can kind of come in and do his own thing, but if he's got a project going on, he can do that as well, as long as he's not involved in a storyline. I think you said it earlier. I'd love to see him be the head of 205, so
that would be, it would be great to have him at 205 Live, because right now, now that Enzo's gone, now that Neville's gone, Rich Swann's gone, you need a little bit of star power on there, and Rey Mysterio, I mean, who better than Rey Mysterio? I mean, good, my goodness. Now, March 25th, he's going to face Jushin Thunder Liger at a New Japan event. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a fun match, which, of course, they have wrestled before in 96 at Starrcade, I think it was, WCW.
Yeah, and we found that, and we put it on our Facebook.
Yeah, go watch that match. It's a really good match back from the old WCW days. So that's a rumor mill, what we got. Now let's dive into Cheap Heat. Ryan, you got something about the Smashing Pumpkins?
Yeah. Some heat coming from their former bass player, Darcy. Now, as you've probably heard, the Smashing Pumpkins are doing a reunion tour, which is great, but what's bringing it on? Is it financial woes? That's what Darcy says it is. She said she was talking to Billy Corgan a few weeks before it actually started brewing about it. And, he was telling her, supposedly, that the NWA has really hurt his finances. And that's the reason for the reunion tour, is that he needs the green. Mm-hmm. So, look, here's a message from me to you, Billy. Maybe, just maybe, if you don't book matches like James Ellsworth to go for your title, maybe it would seem legitimized and people would jump on the NWA train. You got a lot of history. You got the 10 pounds of gold. Flair held it. Harley Race held it. Tons of these old superstars that you could have come back and run promos for your organization. They're not going to want to come because it's a joke now, dude. What are you doing? This guy in indie promotions all across the country, this guy's first match. He's not even a main eventer or a title shot in indie wrestling anywhere in the world. And you're putting him as the first title shot against your guy? What are you smoking, dude?
My favorite part of some of these episodes is when Ryan cuts promos on other people. That's good stuff right there.
Like, and you know what? I thought it was going to be a lot worse than it was. I guess that I'm so angry of what you're doing with the NWA, I can't get it out of my brain. But believe me, there's a lot more things I want to say, but my son's in here with us. And I think you're doing a terrible job. And I was really excited when you bought the NWA. You should have kept the strap on Storm. Storm is an amazing guy. He's an amazing wrestler. And yeah, he's in his 50s, but he can wrestle circles around Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis has some of the worst timing I've ever seen in my whole life in the ring, and this guy's your champ? It's a joke, bro. He may look good in a suit and look good in his expensive watches when he walks in there and he cuts a promo with his flashy British accent or wherever he's from, New Zealand or whatnot, but this guy can't wrestle. The 2 matches he had with Tim Storm were absolutely atrocious, and I can tell you with 100% accountability, that wasn't Tim Storm's fault. That was all Nick Aldis. They were garbage matches, both of them, and then he had a garbage match with Ellsworth. What, you didn't get these guys together before the match? They didn't run through the match? It was a train wreck, bro. Go make your money with the Smashing Pumpkins, and then you're going to continue to lose it because you're putting crap out, and I'm done.
What he said.
Tell us how you really feel, Ryan. But yeah, so obviously you have and look, I haven't seen much of Nick Aldis, but come on now, you got to find a better opponent than James Ellsworth, because let's face it, James Ellsworth is a glorified jobber, is what he is, and the fact that he ever beat AJ Styles in a match is absolutely atrocious. But I don't know what they were trying to do with Ellsworth. I mean, he was getting squashed by Braun Strowman, and all of a sudden,
yeah.
How did this dude? How do you know how he got over? The most over James Ellsworth has ever been is when Jericho put him on the list. I mean, to me and because I remember that promo, that's still one of my favorite promos ever. When there was the 5-on-5, the Raw versus SmackDown, and Jericho was like, "Wait a minute, what the hell is that?" And he points at Ellsworth, and he's like, "There's a lost child at ring. Somebody needs to come pick him up, please." And he called him Chintz McMahon. That was that was absolutely amazing. I love me some Jericho. But yeah, so. Then
one more thing. Go ahead. During the match, I got to get this off my chest too. So during the match, Ellsworth hits a flatliner on him. He gets a 2 count, and then a wobbly Nick Aldis stands up. He hits him with the no chin music. He gets a 2 count on that. Who are you booking this guy to be? The Undertaker? How does he kick out of a flatliner and then immediately get a no-chin music and then kick out of that? I don't get it.
I don't get it either. But, that's why I guess they're not WWE. So, all right, we got one more thing to talk about before we wrap it up here. Hunter, you got something about the Impact taping that's going to go head-to-head with WrestleCon in New Orleans on WrestleMania weekend. Yeah,
they have the WrestleCon event that's taking place on April 6th, the same night as the WWE Hall of Fame event. Probably not as big as people would think, but, I mean, Impact Wrestling has Austin Aries, Alberto El Patron, or Alberto Del Rio, who he was in WWE, Rosemary, Eddie Edwards, LAX. I mean, that's going to be a big event. So them going up against the Hall of Fame on their Twitch channel, I still don't know what that is. I guess it's kind of like a online thing.
It's like a gaming.
Yeah.
It's like a gaming.
Yeah,
it's a site for gamers.
Yeah. But I mean, that's a lot of big names to be going up against, especially those who were in WWE at one point. So that ought to be a pretty interesting event to watch. And I think you had said something about the night before that, or the NXT taping, somebody was going up against.
Yeah, they're going to have the NXT tapings in Ring of Honor Supercard, which is going to have Omega and Cody as the main event there.
Oh, wow.
So a lot's going to be going on WrestleMania weekend in New Orleans, wrestling-wise. You got Impact, you got WWE with the Hall of Fame, NXT, you got Ring of Honor Supercard. You got so much stuff going on that weekend. It's going to be the epicenter of the wrestling world that weekend, and I'm still trying to find my way over there, at least trying to find a ticket to get into the Superdome. Working on that. Last night I was thinking about it. I was like, man, I don't know, with everything that has happened to me already this year, expense-wise, between going to the ER with an infected colon and getting my car fixed, it's like, I'm trying to save up to buy a dang WrestleMania ticket.
No, you take out a personal loan.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I was looking at some WrestleMania tickets, and I found some solid tickets for $200 a pop, and I'm thinking, okay, like, and I already talked to Brink, because Brink would be the one, like, all right, Brink, if I get an extra ticket, you're coming with me. Brink's like, I don't think he's like, I'd rather just go to the Hall of Fame or something like that. I was like, okay, that I love to go to the Hall of Fame. I'd love to go to the whole damn week. But I said, if there's any event I want to go to, it's WrestleMania, because it's Wrestle freaking Mania. I mean, why would I not? It just being in there to me would be awesome. And now I'm thinking if Brink can't make it, I'm about to find maybe a female companion to take with me who enjoys watching wrestling, which I do have a female companion that enjoys wrestling, but to be fair, I'd have to buy the ticket for her, and that right there might quite break the bank for me. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
No going
there.
Dutch on that, huh?
And I tell you what, I mean, if anything, man, seems like the Raw after WrestleMania is almost as big as WrestleMania itself. They always tend to bring a lot of big stars back for that, so that'd probably be a good show to go to.
I looked at ticket prices for that too.
This is probably
they're very close to WrestleMania ticket prices.
gosh.
Like it's crazy how much.
What are you doing to us, WWE? Do you know the median average salary that your people have? We should look that up one time. It's not what these prices are. Like these prices, it's like, who do you want to come to your event?
Now, I understand, like, the Raw after WrestleMania, that's the best Raw of the year by far. So I can understand the ticket prices for that because you have a lot of people that come back. You have some NXT call-ups. You have these fresh, new feuds that are going to start post-WrestleMania.
Yep.
So, and last year I think they had, McMahon came out and said we're going to have the Superstar Shakeups when Kurt Angle came back, when Finn Balor came back. So, in my opinion, paying that much for that Raw is worth it to me, but if I'm going to pay almost a similar price, I'm just going to go to WrestleMania instead because WrestleMania is just where it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Newsflash, maybe that's why attendance is bad.
Could be.
Well, even the the access that I'm going to, tickets for that, just to get in, no superstar signings, anything, $55. I mean, it's just a walking museum pretty much. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining because I've never been, I've always wanted to go, but still, I mean, $55.
I think that's going to be well worth it, and then it's going to be all these wrestling fans and stuff. So not only do you get to go and kind of experience that, but you might get to meet some other wrestling fans, kind of connect and all that stuff. Because I like doing that too when I go to shows.
Yep.
I talk to other wrestling fans, and they have a lot of these fans have good wrestling conversations with them and stuff like that. So you're going to see a lot of cool stuff that week. I guarantee it. I've never been to a WrestleMania Access, but I can about imagine the cool stuff. And you never know, you might run into like a Ric Flair, a Jim Ross, some kind of legend or something, and the
Undertaker again.
Yeah, you run into the Undertaker, and this time he won't be watching the national championship game. So there you go. Yeah. And so I really think $55. I would definitely pay $55. I'd pay probably $100 to go to WrestleMania Access because I've kind of seen what they do there, on TV and stuff like that, and that's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah, and I think to do a superstar signing, like a single superstar, I think $140 for a ticket. So
that's not too bad.
I think that guarantees you'll get your autograph and a picture and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, and that's not too bad. Plus, along with the other things, I guess, I assume. Yeah, so that's not too bad. I mean, that doesn't really break the bank. I mean, of course, I'm talking about $200 tickets that might break my bank. But anyway, so anybody have anything else they want to add to the episode here?
Well, the only thing that I'm thinking about is, obviously, WWE is going to have that Sunday. That's theirs. I don't see how anything else can compete with Omega versus Cody on Saturday.
Look,
that's got to be the ticket. I mean,
now I agree there, but I tell you what, look, after I saw Gargano and Almas that match, I mean, I think it's going to be Aleister Black versus Adrian Almas for the NXT title. That match right there has the potential to be better than Cody versus Omega. It has the potential. I'm not saying it's going to be, but let's face it. Almas and Gargano put on the first 5-star match, according to Dave Meltzer, since 2011. In 6.5 years when CM Punk and John Cena fought at Money in the Bank. I mean, that right there says a lot about where this NXT brand is heading. I think they're going to put on one hell of a show that night. Yeah. While I don't know what the rest of the Ring of Honor Supercard looks like, but because that might be a very top-heavy kind of event, whereas everybody really wants to go see Omega versus Cody. Versus, I don't know what other matches they're going to have that night.
I'm pretty sure Dalton Castle's going to be there. Yeah. They're going to bring out their stars. I mean, they want to make a good showing because they know, hey, a lot of people are going to be in New Orleans anyway, and we got Cody and Omega as our main event. Yeah. And I love the storyline that's building up to this with the Bullet Club, man. It's just fascinating stuff.
Where's that taking place at? Where are they going to perform at? Ring of Honor.
That's a good question. Sure. I don't know. I haven't even really looked it up yet. I'm sure it's going to be a fairly smaller venue because that night.
I thought I heard that it was on the New Orleans University campus.
Oh, okay. It could be, because the Smoothie King Center is going to be taking the Smoothie King Center. That's where I think NXT is going to be, the Smoothie King Center, and then obviously the Superdome and all that. All that stuff's going to be booked up already. So
interesting.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think that's all we got for today, fellas. So with that being said, Ryan, you take us home, man.
Yeah, man. Hunter, thank you so much.
Yeah,
man,
thank you.
Go check out Hunter, MarkOutMania.com. The top of the page, you're going to see wrestling blogs. Hit the undercard blog. Hunter has a great writing style. You're going to love it. It is Great to read. It's going to keep you hooked, and I'm pretty sure you got some great things planned coming up because
especially for WrestleMania. Yes, sir.
For WrestleMania, we got tons of stuff to talk about with Ronda Rousey on the Undercard blog. It's going to be a good time. Also, Brink's blog is up there. And yes, if you want to listen to us live and uncut, really easy to do so. MarkOutMania.com. Hit our Discord button. And then for as little as $1 a month, I know you can afford that. Take out the checkbook. Go over there. You can listen to us live and uncut. We had a lot of outtakes today. And you would have been able to hear them all and laugh along with us. So, MarkOutMania.com. Check us out. Sign up on the Discord. Look at our other perks, too, because once you go up in support levels, they got some pretty cool perks. Winning free merchandise, coming on the show, different stuff like that. MarkOutMania.com. All right. Remember to download those cards. Wednesday sometime, we're going to be putting them on our social medias. And with that said, Patrick.
Outro.
You've been listening to the Mark Out Mania podcast, a Lake Area Media, LLC production. The views and opinions expressed in this show are those of Ryan Keith and Patrick Fry and are not affiliated with any wrestling promotion or company. Follow Mark Out Mania on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. For all Mark Out Mania links, news, and free podcasts, visit MarkOutMania.com. You've been marked.